Hello, how are you? I'm Piper and this is my wardrobe. So I've got pink shoes. They actually were white shoes that got dyed red and then faded. So I have a special red line here, and this is a little pinkish. Special just for Piper. And then this actually is an Amy Pond skirt. And then we got a strawberry sweater because we wanted something to sort of, you know, sweet and fun, but really recognizable for Piper. And then this is my sparkly ring. We have a whole story about how we got it on one of our worlds and how it has a name, and it's actually a living creature that's born and bred to be jewelry. And when I take it off, it makes that, and then it feels better.
Yeah, my outfit has a little bit less of a story. Amanda Avery basically designed the coat. It sounds like a dorky thing, but I actually really love this button because there's like moving parts to this button, which is a weird thing for me, but I kind of love it. And aside from that, it's basically just a lab coat. And then this is sort of like I guess like a bicycling or running shirt that we zip all the way up to look a little futury. Yeah. And then when I came to set on the first day, I had jeans as well as slacks, and we decided that jeans just looked a little bit too modern, a little bit too earth.
There was a lot of discussion about Boyish's look before we got to this point, where we were talking about Boyish looking more like he had just dressed himself for the first time, doing more boyishy stuff. But we ended up settling on something simple and a little bit futuristic-y, but young, because we knew that Boyish was also immortal. So obviously he's been dressing himself for a while. We also, even though he at the beginning of his scene is kind of low-key and not obviously dangerous, we didn't want to necessarily make that his character. We wanted to do something that was different from the way the Inspector looked on Community and what we had here. And we went with, there was a costume designer by the name of Becky Jordan, who decided to take on the task of building the Inspector's wardrobe, and she built this coat from scratch. And we talked a couple of months ago and we started talking about style and ideas, and about 3 weeks ago she sent me 3 sketches, and then each sketch was different. Each sketch definitely represented a different look for the Inspector. But then we settled on this look that had kind of a real feel of the Inspector as Space Police. And then she built this wonderful costume, and then we got a hat from Dorfman Pacific, and they actually sent us the hat for free, which was wonderful of them. And the ascot is from Carol and Company here in Beverly Hills, and they also contributed the ascot for free, and it is the same company that provided the ascot that I wore in Community. So it's very cool. Dorfman Pacific, also the same company that made the hat that the Inspector wears in Community. So very cool to have those companies step up and say, yeah, we would love to help you out with the series. There are some really amazing props in the show, not just the stuff that we have on set, but also props that we got specially made for us. I want to talk a little bit about the optic pocket knife, which of course is the Inspector's version of a sonic screwdriver. Infinitely more useful. This was made by Brian Wiega. Brian and I met at Gallifrey 1, where he had worked on the restoration of the 8th Doctor's TARDIS console, which if you've seen that video with the Inspector and Boyish playing on the console, that was him and a couple other guys who restored that. So Brian offered to make the Inspector's optic pocket knife. So what it is, it looks like this, and you press this button and it flips up a little screen that you can, the Inspector can read out things on the screen, and then underneath you have a little laser scanner. So it will scan things, you know, or open doors, or whatever it is the Inspector needs it to do. And it's amazing. It's kind of incredible. The other thing that I was really pleased with was Mike Bielacek from Aradani Studios made blasters for us. I found Mike, I found his project on Kickstarter.com, where he was raising money. He had built a steampunk blaster, and he was raising money in order to create a mold that he could kind of mass produce them. And so he did. He sent us these blasters that he hand painted, and also matching holsters.
They're really cool. They're just cool.
Yeah, and this was just a fan. Like I reached out to Mike and asked him if he wanted to supply blasters for the series, and he said, yeah, absolutely. So please go check out Mike's stuff at AradaniStudios.com. We'll put a link probably down here somewhere.
All this stuff that we get to play with and wear, and just, making stuff is fun. You should make stuff.
Well, and the fact, I mean, what really amazes me is the number of people that have come together to help make this show possible. The 600 and some odd actual donors who gave money. The 25, 30, 35 crew members that have donated their time to come work with us for 10, 12-hour days.
The people that watched the panel at Gallifrey 1 that kind of started this all, that by that night, by like 3 hours after we made the announcement at Gallifrey 1, had kind of exploded a small portion of the internet with the news that we were doing this. Just every step along the way, all the people who've been helping us out with this, just unbelievable.
And of course, everybody who's made things, you know, and actually put their time into costumes and props, and it's just amazing. So thank you.
Yes.